Hey, what is up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. I made the morning video today, drinking my cup of coffee sitting here at the kitchen table. Now here I am with a hot bowl of soup sitting here. Basically, the one thing that has really got me going in professional wrestling that I think is going to be a really big match is going to be taking down at the NXT TAKEOVER live in Chicago. I can honestly tell you that as of right now, I don't know if this is a standalone NXT TakeOver show or if one of the big shows is going to be going down in Chicago. I know that Payback's coming up, and Payback loves the city of Chicago, so I'm not sure if they're doing a double shot up there where basically WWE is going to be taking over a town. But the main event of that show is going to be Booby Roode going up against Itami. Booby Roode came into an NXT, and honestly, in my mind, you could tell that he was really going to be something special, really going to be one of the main guys. But he was the guy who beat Nakamura. And honestly, when it comes down to it, you know, somebody has to take down that top guy. It was Samoa Joe that took out Finn Balor. That you can sort of say that once you get somebody in that number one guy of the promotion, it's hard to take them out. Because honestly, in my mind, the way I look at NXT is a lot like the way we've looked at Ring of Honor over the years since I started watching back in 2010. You know, Ring of Honor would lose guy after guy after guy. It started out, you know, with Samoa Joe and CM Punk. That turned into Daniel Bryan and Nigel McGuinness. You know, them losing guy after guy. Chris Hero, Claudio. You know, just basically the whole the ship was getting taken down guy by guy, person at a time. And with NXT, you know, I think they took a little bit of a hit last year with the draft, with Balor leaving, American Alpha leaving. You know, of course, last summer, the women's division really got purged. But, you know, this year, you know, Ty Dillinger, a guy that I think honestly could have spent more time in developmental, but when you really look up this guy's stuff, and you realize how long that guy was in developmental and how long, you know, he had been, you know, trying to get to the main roster. It's a real good story, but honestly, in my mind, I don't think his character got to develop enough to where he's really a credible person being moved up to the SmackDown brand. And I'm one hell of a fan, and I want to see him there. But Booby Roode right now, you know, he's the guy who beats Nakamura. Definitely he is the top guy in NXT, but his number one contender that is to be going up against the NXT TakeOver show in Chicago is going to be Itami. I honestly can't tell you how Itami became the number one contender. My guess is that he probably won some sort of a match, but I saw the promo online today, basically, of them going back and forth, and then Itami hitting the GTS on Roode. That definitely makes him look like he is a strong competitor, that he's able to hit his finisher on him and able to shut him up. Itami is a guy that honestly had a lot of hard times against him, that, you know, he got brought in, he had the word got out that he had been signed, but then the official announcement was when WWE was over in Japan, and they did it in the ring with Hulk Hogan introducing him and getting the huge rub, and then of course him coming in and then having matches. Then of course he was the tag team partner of Finn Balor on the NXT TakeOver show way back when, and it just kept building up. This guy is a fucking awesome wrestler, and you know he's going to be a guy to come. You know, of course, WrestleMania 31, he was in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. He won the tournament in order to be at WrestleMania. He was a big part of the NXT live show that ended up being shown in clips on television, but it wasn't. It was more of a house show than anything else, but it was recorded. And one of the biggest things that went down on that show, if you were lucky enough to be there, was that he finally hit the GTS. Because if you were watching his matches at the time, he kept setting it up. He kept setting it up. Of course, WrestleMania 31 was a year after CM Punk had left the company, so the move was free for him to use. Nobody else was using it. But I think they were really trying to set it up in a main way. And of course, at the same time, you're not letting the guy hit the move. It's sort of a slap in the face at CM Punk at the same time. And I think that's what a lot of WWE does over the history of time, is they take shots at guys whenever they get the chance. I'm excited for this match. Honestly, in my mind, I don't see Itami winning it. But hopefully, in my mind, this will be Itami's one of his last matches in NXT. I can see him being moved up to at least to the 205 Live roster and joining the Cruiserweight division there. Where, I mean, they just keep stockpiling names there. They've got guys that haven't really even, debuted on the show that people say are signed. I don't know if they're, keeping them at the Performance Center. I've heard that some guys are being held back because they can't speak English and couldn't be able to deliver a promo. Honestly, in my mind, a promo is good. But a lot of times, you just put somebody in the ring and get them over. The match speaks for itself. And that's what you want to see more than anything else in my mind. But Vince has been stuck to his old ways for a long time. And sometimes if a guy can't deliver a great promo, that's what's going to hold him back. From what I've seen from Itami over the past few years is great. And I mean, he gets along with a lot of the guys, and a lot of guys want to give him good matches. Maybe he could be put on SmackDown. Maybe he could be put on Raw. But honestly, in my mind, at his size and weight, I think that the 205 Live roster would be great. Seeing him mix it up with guys like TJ Perkins, Neville, Austin Aries. It's going to be a great show, and I don't see a lot of people really talking about it. I know that when the Cruiserweight Classic went down, it was only a short, during the summer ordeal. There was maybe 6 weeks at the most, I believe. It might have been 5. But now they're asking you to tune in each and every week, and maybe the main event isn't something that's really big. And plus, at the same time, they want you to tune in, after SmackDown. So you've already watched a 2-hour wrestling show, and one of the reasons people don't like watching Raw that much anymore is that there's the 3-hour Raw, and now here they are asking you to watch 3 hours on Tuesday yet once again. It's always it's not always the biggest thing in my mind, but I think Itami versus Roode is going to be a great match. I think that Roode has great competitors in the making. Definitely, you can see with Cassius Ohno as well as Roderick Strong. They're going to be coming up sooner than later. So those are probably going to be the big matches coming up in there. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Itami lose this one and join the main roster sooner than later.